Alright. Hello everyone. Welcome. So everybody's getting settled in here. How are y'all doing? It's so good to be here with all of you. And I want to go ahead and say thank you so much for being willing to be my guinea pigs as I'm working through learning how to teach people and going through these sets. I'm really excited to hear any of your feedback that you might have for me as we move to the end of today, and I'm just very thankful that you all are so gracious to let me try this with you, so thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and move towards my mat here. I'd encourage you, if you have blocks, blankets, bolsters, to go ahead and get those. I know for me, especially when we're on hard surfaces, I like to have a little something underneath my knees. And actually, this is just like a fine example that you can probably find something around your home if you're not a regular yogi. This is a mat that I have actually for like gardening to be on my knees. But it works really well for me if I go into a hands and knees pose and my knees just need a little more support. So if you have anything like that, a blanket, a pillow, may be helpful for later, just go ahead and gather those things now so that we have them. As we're moving through things today, if we ever come across anything that does not feel good to your body, please just listen to your body. I know some of these stretches can get a little intense, so just make sure that you are really listening to what your body has to say for you today. So if you'd like, you can go ahead and come to a nice, comfortable seated position. For me, that's with my legs crossed here, but I know for some people this can be a hard place just to start right off the bat. If you don't know who I am, my name is Adrian, and I am a second-year medical student at Marian University. And as with a lot of people, COVID kind of rocked my summer world a little bit, so I had to find some other things to do this past summer, and I was lucky enough to be introduced to a yoga teacher training. And though it's pretty far out of my comfort zone, I just sort of decided to say yes, because it was something that really presented itself to me in this time, and I decided to listen to that. So here we are. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and settle in here. Feel those butt bones in the ground, in your blanket, whichever is most comfortable for you. Maybe your hands are resting on your knees, in your lap, either way. And then we're just gonna start to notice our breath here. Don't have to change it at all, just notice where it is. Maybe you feel your breath most in your nose or in your mouth. Maybe you feel it most in your throat or in your chest. Maybe you feel it all the way down belly. Maybe you feel it somewhere else entirely. Free to soften that gaze and close your eyes if that is comfortable to you. Start to take some deeper breaths here. So as you breathe in, really feel that belly expand. And as you breathe out, feel that the belly button pull all the way into the spine. Just do a full exhale. Deep breath in. Breath out. In. Chest and your belly this time. So filling in, inhale, feel that chest and then the belly move, and on your exhale, push out the belly, and then feel the air empty from the chest. Inhale, chest and belly. Exhale, belly and chest. Take a few more of these deep breaths on your own. At your own pace. Feel free to let those exhales be audible, especially if it feels good to you. Sigh it out. 2 more breath cycles. Excellent. Coming back to in our body now, we're going to move into what's called the Sufi grind or Siri Om. So we're just going to tilt our forward body around here. So we're really grinding those butt bones into the ground, the Sufi grind. People think of this as a mortar and pestle kind of movement, or like you're stirring a thick, my brownie batter is thick, stirring a thick brownie batter. So as you're coming forward, we're going to invite an inhale, and as we move backward, an exhale. So inhaling forward, exhaling backwards. Inhaling, deep breath in forward, exhaling to the back. Inhaling forward and exhaling to the back. Maybe you involve your shoulders in this. Maybe you feel this in your mid-back or your low back. You're gonna switch sides now whenever you're ready, still finding that breath as we inhale forward and exhale to the back. Really round that back out. Inhaling forward, collarbones nice and wide. Exhaling to the back. I typically don't involve my neck very much on this, just because I really want to feel it in my back. But if you're starting to feel like you want to invite some head movement, some gentle head movement into this too, feel free to do that. Slowly make these spirals slightly smaller and smaller until we come back to our seated position. Alright, get some movement going in those hands. Maybe shake out your upper body just a little bit. We're going to move to our hands and knees now, so we're going to go into cat-cow. So we're going to start in what's called a tabletop position. So we are going to go to our hands and knees. We want our... Can you see our wrists okay? Let me see here if I can back this up just a little bit so you can see my wrists. Gotta move some of nature here. Big sticks under my kneecaps probably won't feel too great. Let's see there. Yeah, I think you can see that just a little better now. Make sure. I'll back this bad boy up just a little bit, just in case. There we go. Now I've got my full mat. Hopefully you can see my hands just a little better here. So come into that tabletop, hands and knees. We want our hands to be spread nice and wide, especially if you have any kind of aches or pains in your wrists. Having a nice wide hand base will really help alleviate that. So we want our wrists over our elbows, over our shoulders, nice straight line here. Same thing, we want our knees and our hips to be in a nice straight line. And then our back is just in a neutral position. This is our tabletop position. We're going to drop our belly as we inhale and raise our hips and our heads to the sky. This is our cow, out of the cat-cow. Then we're going to exhale and move the other way. We're going to arch our back up towards the ceiling and draw that belly button in towards the spine. Inhaling down, dropping the belly, raising the head and the hips. Exhaling, pushing up through our back, really raising that spine to the ceiling. Again, inhaling all the way down, dropping that belly. And exhaling all the way up. Really arching that back and activating those muscles. Alright, coming back to just our neutral tabletop here. Feel free to kind of move side to side. Maybe you just kind of give it a few wiggles front to back. If you find that this is too much weight on your wrist, you can do a bit of a counter pose here, where you invite those wrists to maybe move the other way. Still in our tabletop position, we want to get the spine moving the other directions now. So I just want you to look over your left shoulder and see if you can't take a peek at that left hip. And the other way. Peek over that right shoulder, the right hip. And back to center. Taking a few just nice breaths here as we move sort of forward and backward. We're going to go into child's pose next from here. So we are going to bring our big toes together in the back. We're going to widen our knees to about the edges of the mat. Then we're going to hinge all the way back from those hips and drop our head to the floor. This is our child's pose. Balasana in Sanskrit. If at any point in our set today you are finding yourself uncomfortable, child's pose would be an excellent pose for you to come back to, just to take a moment of rest in and to kind of catch your breath before you rejoin us. So we're really pushing those hands out to the front of the mat, sinking our hips back onto our heels. If you want, if this is too intense for you, maybe you put a pillow under your forehead, or a fist or two fists. And when you're ready, we're gonna come back up to our tabletop position. So move those knees back towards the middle. We're going to take our left foot, we're going to put it back behind us. We're going to keep that leg nice and straight, and then we are going to kind of lean back into this and have a nice stretch up through our calves, maybe even into your hamstring just a little bit. But for me, I like to feel this in my calves. When you're ready, switch sides. And I always like to invite just a little bit of movement, especially as we start to get into a pose. Just a little bit of dynamic movement to warm up those muscles that we're trying to get moving and get warm this morning. Or this afternoon or evening, whenever you decide to watch this replay. Alright, knees back into tabletop position. We're going to go into a plank pose. So this time we're going to take both feet back. Our hands are at about our shoulder distance again. Feel free to kind of play forward and backwards here. And then we are going to drop our knees, our chest, and our chin to the floor. Feel free to relax all the way. If you want to put your head all the way down on the floor here, that's just fine. We're going to go up into baby cobra next. So we're going to zip our legs together. We want our hands to be out nice and wide again, right by our shoulders. And then as we inhale, we're going to use that breath to lift up ever so slightly. And then as we exhale, we'll release our head back down. So inhale, your head and your chest come up. Slight back bend here. And as you exhale, coming back down. Inhale up. And notice that I'm able to take my hands off here and still keep my chest up off the floor. So what's working here are my back muscles. I'm not pushing myself up, just using those back muscles. And back down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Let's do one more of those. Inhale up. And exhale down. We're going to move into downward dog. Just to get there from here, we're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to keep those hands nice and wide. Then we are going to send our hips up and towards the ceiling into our first downward dog of the day. So feel free to kind of pedal out those back legs. Again, we're sort of waking up our calves, waking up our hamstrings. I like to find a little bit of motion forward and backwards here. Make sure those hands are still nice and wide. We're thinking about taking our heels to the floor and taking our tailbones to the ceiling or the sky. And as we exhale, we're thinking about pulling our chest in closer towards our thighs. A few more deep breaths here. Alright, and slowly we're going to let our knees come to the floor. We're going to go back into child's pose. So toes together, knees mat width apart, and sink back. Coming up into a plank position, we're going to move back towards our baby cobra. So we're going to drop our knees, our chest, and our chin to the ground. Zip up those legs, hands by your shoulders. Inhale, slight back bend. Exhale. We're going to move all the way to down dog. So tuck those toes, lift the hips all the way to the sky. Let's do one more of those. So we'll go into child's pose. Toes together, sink back in the hips. Forward to a plank position. Knees, chest, chin to the floor. Breathe in, baby cobra. Exhale to down dog. Alright, this time we are going to walk our feet up towards our hands. And then we're just going to let our upper body fold over our lower body here. So this is Uttanasana, our forward fold. As you're here, let your head relax, let your upper back relax, let your lower back relax. Knees have a slight bend to them. If you want, you can take your arms to the opposite elbows. And if you want, you can kind of twist side to side here just a little bit. Maybe nod your head. Yes, no. Give it a little shake. Whenever you're ready, we're going to make contact with our shins with our hands and walk ourselves up our bodies. Big breath in. Hands up over your head, and exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do one more of those because I really love our forward fold. So we're going to exhale, bend to the front ever so gently. Slight bends the knees, head's released, shoulders are released, lower back is released. Maybe find some movement again, a little bit left and right. Maybe your arms are crossed. And making some connection with your shins, we're going to roll up. Let your head be the last thing to come up this time. So your knees, hips, shoulders, maybe they come all the way around and back. Then your head. If you want, you can bring your arms out to the side here. This is a form of our mountain pose. Take a deep breath in, hands above our head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little warmer in your body now. Starting to feel a little bit more warmed up. Ready to move on into some more of these poses. Just want to, while we're here, taking some nice deep breaths and just being present in our body. I want to take this opportunity to thank you again for being here with me and allowing me this space to get better in my teaching and allowing me some grace to to grow in this moment with you. All right, release our hands down. Shake out if you've got some things that you still need to warm up a little bit. I know my ankles maybe need a little bit of extra shaking in here. Maybe it's your arms, your shoulders, your head. We're gonna do our standing side stretch konasana. So we're gonna reach our right arm up, and we're gonna take our left arm the opposite direction and really stretch to open up that side. Nice long line here. Exhale. And then we're gonna inhale and switch to that other arm. Left arm's up nice and high, right arm towards that ground. Not so much thinking about reaching all the way over, because that's going to contract this side down. Really want to think about extending those arms away from each other. And switch to the other side. We'll do both sides one more time here. Sort of separating those shoulders, separating the hands, and switch arms. Oh, excellent. All right. We're going to invite a little bit more twist into our spine now, just warm up that spine. So I like to go feet a little bit wider than hips distance. And we're just going to invite a little bit of a swing to our upper body. This is called willow tree. Not necessarily a traditional yoga pose per se, but I think it just fits really nice and it feels really nice. So I wanted to add it in here today. This is a really easy one that you can do in the study room. If you've been sitting hunched over a computer for too long, you just need to get up and stretch out that back a little bit. Maybe this is a good pose or a good movement to kind of invite in that moment. As you're twisting, it's all from the hips and up. Really let those arms swing. They're going to make a bit of a connection with your body in the back. A gentle tap, but a firm tap. You should be able to hear that sound. It might feel really nice as those arms kind of swing around to your back. Maybe you invite those arms to swing around towards your mid-back. Maybe up a little higher. Maybe bring that front hand to your shoulder or to your chest. Maybe those back hands come up towards your kidneys. Kind of make little C shapes for those little kidney beans. Maybe it comes all the way down to the hips. Maybe your hips need a little bit of attention. Alrighty, I'm slowing this down. And take one more nice deep breath in, arms up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Going to move into our sun salutations next, which may sound to some of you maybe a little who are newer to yoga intimidating, but everything that's in the sun salutation we've actually already done today in some form or fashion. All right, we lost our camera there for just a moment, but we're back. So I'm going to slowly take us through the sun salutations again, just to make sure we're all on the same page with that, and then we'll start to speed them up a little bit. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come to the front of our mat, the short end of our mat. We're going to take a nice deep breath in. I'll face you just so you can see. Nice deep breath in, hands above our head. We're going to lock our thumbs together and just invite a slight back bend there. I'm going to do a forward fold as we exhale over. We're just going to really let ourselves hang in this position. And as we inhale, we're going to come to a flat half back. So this one can be a little tricky for people. I'm going to step back just so you can see. So you want your hands to be making contact with your body, and you want to have a nice flat back. So you'd be looking at the ground here, so your spine is straight forward. Maybe you have a slightly forward gaze, but our back should be nice and straight. Then we're going to exhale back down into Uttanasana, our forward fold. We're going to place our hands on the ground here, and we are going to step both of our feet back into a plank. Okay. From here, we're going to do our knees, chest, and chin to the floor into our baby cobra. So as we inhale, our chest is going to peel up and off the floor. If you have full cobra in your set, you're welcome to go into that here as well. If that's too intense for your back, feel free to stick right at baby cobra. Then we're going to exhale into down dog, so tucking those toes, lifting the hips to the ceiling. And then we're going to inhale and step, walk, hop, jump, float back into our forward fold. As we exhale, and inhale all the way up. Hands above head, locking those thumbs together, slight back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do it one more time together, sort of slow, and then we'll speed it up just a bit. So starting here, top of our mat, hands at heart center. Inhale, hands to the ceiling, slight back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands on shins, flat back. Exhale, we're gonna go all the way back into our plank position. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to floor. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale into down dog. Inhale as you walk, step, hop to the front. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale all the way up and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Do a few more of those, but let's just take 3 complete breath cycles here with our hands to heart center. All right, we're gonna inhale, hands up above our head, inviting that slight back bend. Exhale, dive towards the floor. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold over, put your hands to the floor. Inhale as you step back into plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, walk, jump, hop to the front of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands all the way above our heads to the sky, inviting that slight back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 breaths here. I'm going to do 1 more of these. All right, deep inhale, hands are coming above our heads, slight back bend. Exhale, dive to the floor. Inhale, hands on your shins, flat back. Exhale, place your hands firmly on the ground. Inhale, back into a plank position. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale, zip those legs up, baby cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes back into downward dog. Inhale as you step or hop to the front of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, really sweep those arms to the sky. And exhale, hands to heart center. How we feeling? Feeling good? You have officially done. Make sure we're still recording. We are still recording good. You have officially done your sun salutations for the day. Congratulations. Shake out anything that you might have. This would be a good time for you if you have some water around and you'd like to get a quick drink of water. Feel free to do that now. Brief intermission here. And whenever you're ready, I'm a little sweaty. Is anybody else sweaty? I'm a little sweaty. Hopefully the scenery is okay for you. This is my backyard. So hopefully you can see everything okay. Whenever you're ready, we're going to move into some of our standing poses here. So we're going to root down from our feet first. So really make a nice connection with those feet to your mat. If you want, you can kind of pick up your toes and place them back down one at a time. I don't have enough dexterity in my toes to do that yet, so they kind of all come to the floor together. I'm going to feel our big toe and our little toe and our heel all really rooted and connected to the floor beneath you. Going to invite our palms to come out to the side as we start to build our mountain pose. So our feet are about hips widths apart. They're very grounded into the floor. We're going to engage our calf muscles. We're going to engage our thigh muscles. Try not to lock your knees. There should be a bit of a slight bend to your knees, even though our legs are engaged. We're going to engage that pelvic floor and pull it up. Our Mula Bandha, if you are in, or if you are aware of some of those kinds of things. Going to engage our navel, the abdominal muscles, or our Uddiyana Bandha. I think I said that correctly. If I didn't, please feel free to correct me. Going to feel a nice strong chest, strong arms. So we should have all of our muscles engaged, basically from our neck down. We want our neck to remain soft, our face to remain soft. Everywhere else is engaged. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax. Just allow your body to relax. Your next inhale, find your strong mountain again. And as you exhale, let it relax. Just notice, for some of us, our shoulders might be starting to creep up as we get tense. Really invite those shoulders to settle back down. Think about pulling those shoulder blades back and opening up your chest here. We're going to move into our warrior poses. We're going to find a slightly wider stance here. Why don't we just kind of point our toes out to a bit of a 45-degree angle. We're going to invite some movement here first. You might hear my ankle pop quite a bit. I've got some old injuries there that I really have to be mindful of. Ask me those stories sometime. They're embarrassing, but quite funny. So as we're in this, I like to have my feet out to roughly a 45-degree angle, just because I like to be really mindful that my knees, as I'm moving, are going straight over my ankles. Okay, and I'm not pushing my knees past my ankles, just going right over my ankles and allowing my knees to kind of work in that same plane. More just left and rights here. Maybe you kind of invite a slight bend in one of those legs and the other leg. And we're going to bring our feet to be parallel from each other. So our feet are parallel to the short end of the mat here. They are pretty wide. We're going to take our right foot. We are going to turn it towards the short end of the mat. So what we want here is our back foot. Our back left foot is still parallel to the short end, and our right foot is perpendicular to that. Your heel is pretty much lined up with the arch of your back foot. So same thing here, we're just going to bend and straighten this front leg a few times, just to get a little bit of a feel for a motion here. And same thing, we want to be really mindful of this knee. In this pose, it can tend to maybe fall in a little, which is really hard on your knees. So make sure as you're bending, that knee is moving straight towards your ankle and your toes. And maybe you just kind of put a hand on the inside. It doesn't have to push there, but just to guide it a little bit to the outside. This is a bit of a hip opener as we're working into Warrior 2. So really think about keeping this front part of your body towards the long side of your mat so your hips are nice and open. If it helps you, you can put your hands on your hip, kind of roll them back out. So roll that right leg out and roll your left hip kind of down and back behind you. Still inviting some movement in that right leg. All right, we're gonna go ahead and find the bend here. We're gonna keep the bend. We're gonna bring our arms out to both sides. And then we're gonna look over our right middle finger out. So this is our warrior two pose. Gonna inhale, bring your hands to the center. And straighten that leg. Exhale, bend the leg back into warrior two. Inhale, straighten that leg, hands to center. Exhale, bend the leg into warrior two. A few more here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. A few more on your own here. Gonna meet back in the center here. Go ahead and let this right foot come forward so both of our legs are parallel. Then we're just gonna inch our legs in together and then step them together and kind of shake out those legs a little bit. I know being in those warrior poses for an extended amount of time can really get the thighs firing, so feel free to shake those out, and we're gonna do the other side here in just a minute. All right. So again, finding our nice open pose here, we're gonna start just inviting that movement back into our legs. So I like to keep my feet at about a 45-degree angle here, so my toes are kind of pointed at the corners of the mat. For taller people, it may be a bit of an adjustment for you, but just turned out enough so as your knees are moving, they're able to move over those ankles. Okay, we don't want to go way past them either. That's also kind of rough on our knees. So just far enough. And if you feel like you can go further, then maybe you widen your stance just a little bit. Just inviting that movement. I'm pretty short, so I'm going to bring my legs back in just a bit. Maybe you find that kind of lean again to the side. Just feeling your hips a little there. Alright, we're going to bring both our toes back to the long edge of our mat here, so parallel to our short end. This time we're going to take our left foot and turn it towards that short end of the mat. And our right foot stays where it is. So we should have one foot pointed towards the short end, back foot pointed towards the long end. Same thing here, just find some movement, bending that front knee, bending and straightening that front knee. Really like to invite some play in these poses before I just try to hold them for quite a while. Just helps get me a little warm before I strengthen. Alright, as you're ready, we're going to come into that bend. We're going to bring both our arms out to our sides here. We're going to look over that left hand into our warrior two pose. Remember, your chest is open to the long side of your mat. Head and hands are looking over that left middle finger. Feet are very strong into the mat here. We're engaging, we're using both of our legs, really engaging those muscles in our legs and our core. And as we straighten that front leg, bring your hands to heart center and inhale. And exhale back into warrior two. Inhale, straighten that leg, hands to heart center. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, try to leave a micro bend in that knee. Don't let it lock into place. Exhale, warrior two. Find this movement a few times with your own breath. Your next inhale on that straight leg, let's meet in the center here. Turn that left foot back towards the long end of your mat. Inch your feet together, and then step them together, shake it out. All right, so this is our Warrior 2 pose. For our next pose, we're gonna work on our Warrior 1. So I'm gonna come at just a little bit of an angle off my mat here so you can see. Again, just give those legs a bit of a shake out. If you need some water, again, feel free real quick. All right, you're gonna come to the front edge of your mat here. I'm gonna do it long ways just so you can see. And we are going to step back. Let's step back. Let's see which one we just work on. Step back our left foot behind us. Also do it at a bit of an angle so you can see. Okay, there's a couple of options here for you. If you would like to go into a variation that's called a high crescent lunge, you can keep that back ankle or the back heel off the floor. That's just fine. If you want to go into another form of the Warrior 1 variation, you can bring that heel to the floor, and it might be at, again, just a slight angle. You don't want it all the way out. It's about a 45-degree angle. Whichever one of those feels better for you, feel free to play in. I'm gonna work on my my Warrior 1 where my back heel is down for now. So feel free to join me in that, or if it feels better for you to do a high crescent lunge, either way is just fine. So same thing here, we're gonna invite some bend in that front leg. And if you're choosing to do the variation of Warrior 1 IM, you only want your legs as far apart as you can go without that back heel coming down. Hips are facing towards the front here. Still just inviting some movement in this pose. As we exhale, we are going to add our arms in with this. So as we exhale, we're going to bend that leg and push out the air in front of us. And then as we inhale, we're going to straighten the leg and really invite that air in. Almost like we're swimming. So exhaling, pushing forward. Inhaling, coming back, straightening that leg. Exhale, really push that air out. Inhale back in. Think about like blowing away any negativity, any stress that you might have, just really blowing it out of the room. If you're having to do this inside somewhere with a mask on, that may feel a little silly. If you're outside, feel free to really use that air that you've got. All right, coming into the full expression of our Warrior 1, we're gonna take our arms up above our head, almost like we're holding a big beach ball, inviting a slight back bend. Here is our Warrior 1 pose. Both feet are grounded. Legs are engaged, core is engaged. Shoulders are relaxed. We don't want our arms right up by our ears. Really relax those down. Exhale and step forward. All right, shake out those legs. All right, we're gonna work on our other side now here. So coming back to the front of our mat. Stepping back our right foot this time. If you want to keep that back leg straight and be in our high crescent lunge, where both feet are facing the short end, that's just fine. I'm gonna stick to the other version of Warrior 1, where that back heel is down, and that foot is just at a slight angle, not quite a 45-degree angle. If you're feeling really tippy in this pose, think about widening your feet just a little bit wider from one another. You don't want to be walking a tightrope. We want to think about skis here in this Warrior 1. So I'll kind of turn here so you can see that. See how my feet, there's a little bit of width, kind of in line with my hips. If you're feeling tilty, you might not have enough of a base here. So just widen out that back foot just a little bit. Same thing here, we're gonna think about bending and straightening this front leg, just to get some movement in this pose. Also, so our thighs aren't dead by the end of it. They may still be, no promises. Our hips are facing the short end of the mat. Gonna start to invite our breath here again. So as we bend that leg, we're gonna exhale, push our air forward. And as we straighten, we're gonna inhale a nice deep breath in. So exhale forward, inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Straighten. Exhale and bend. Find a few of these with your own breath. Really encourage you to make some sound on that exhale. Maybe it's even a sigh for you. I like to really blow things away. This time coming into our bend, inviting our hands to come up above our head like we're holding a large beach ball, slight back bend in our full expression of Warrior One. Legs are strong. If you're shaking, miracles are happening. That's what one of our teachers said at the yoga teacher training this summer. It's only a tiny bit of a joke. Alright, on your next exhale, stepping forward and shaking out those legs. Woo. If you need a quick drink of water again, feel free to do that. Alright, we're going to slowly make our way. Let me double check. I believe we're making our way to the floor now. Yeah, we're going to make our way slowly to the floor now. Alrighty. Inviting some movement into my back. Maybe invite a little bit of movement into your neck. Just being gentle there. Next, we're going to go into the half dragonfly pose. It's called Janu Shirshasana is the Sanskrit. I'm still working on my Sanskrit, so again, if you are someone who knows how to say these very well, please send me a message. I'd be happy to learn them. We're going to extend our left leg out to our side, about at a 45-degree angle, and we're going to pull that right leg in towards our thigh. Going to take a nice deep breath in, hands above head. We're going to hinge at our hips and just come forward. Your hands can come to the floor. We just want to fold far enough where we start to feel that in the backs of our legs and maybe in the back of our thigh. That left toe is pointed towards the ceiling. We want to keep our back nice and straight here. If you're starting to feel like you're really hunched over, maybe you've gone just a little too far, and you can back those hands up just a little bit. So as far as you can go, kind of hinging at the hips without letting that back sag over. I hate the word sag. Don't know why I said it. But you get what I'm saying. Alright, now we are going to exhale and let that back fold over, kind of surrendering to this pose. Maybe you're able to go very deep with your head. Maybe not very deep at all. For me, it's about right if I can put, sort of my forearms on the ground. It's about where I can get in this pose. We're keeping that left foot engaged. And coming back up. Switching legs now. Right leg out at about a 45-degree angle. It is dorsiflexed up, so pointed to the sky. Left leg is in towards our hips. And we're just going to reach up. Let's take a nice deep breath in here. Exhale, and we're going to come forward just enough at the hips. We start to feel that tension in the back of our leg. I don't want to say pulling. That's not quite the right sensation. But just engaged, a little bit of a stretch in the back of the leg here. Again, trying not to hunch over, really keep that back nice and straight up. If you feel like you are starting to slouch, just back your hands up just a little bit. And then we're going to exhale and surrender into this pose. Really breathing into the back of your thigh, or wherever it is that you're feeling this stretch the most. For me, it's right in the back of my thigh. And coming back together here. We're going to do butterfly pose next. This is probably my favorite. I remember doing this in gym class when I was like in elementary school. So our feet are coming together. We're going to invite those knees to kind of come down to the sides. Maybe you're holding on to your toes here. Generally, that's kind of where I see people holding on in this pose. Maybe you kind of flap those legs just a little bit to invite them to release. And then again, we're going to fold from our hips forward. And then we are also going to surrender into this pose. You might explore having your feet in a little closer to you or a little farther out. Sometimes maybe widening that base a little bit can really help people to get into this. On every exhale, let yourself fold into this pose just a little more. Back up. We're going to put our legs straight out in front of us and kind of shake those legs out just a little bit. We're going to do a seated twist here, so why don't we take our right knee, we're going to bend our right knee up, bring it in close to our butt. We're going to take that left arm, and you can either grab your left knee or kind of wrap all the way around. We're going to take our right arm back behind us and invite that twist into our back. Our left leg is still straight in front of us. Toes are pointed to the ceiling. And if you want, you can even invite your gaze to go to the back of the room here. And we're going to switch sides. So our right leg is now straight, left leg comes in. Right arm is going to wrap either all the way around or maybe it just supports that leg, whichever is more comfortable for you. Left hand is going to tent back behind us. I'll turn just so you can kind of see that. So it can be pretty close in to help support your back to stay up straight. Again, we don't want that sort of slouching posture. We want our back to be nice and straight. And invite yourself to look back over that shoulder and invite that spinal twist. And coming out of that pose. We're going to do a slight core one next. Okay, this is one where you'll probably see me shake a whole lot. This is called our boat pose, or Navasana. So we are going to bring both of our legs, I don't know why I just did that, that's silly. Both of our legs up to a bent position. If you want, you can kind of put your hands here first. We're going to lean our back ever so slightly. And then we're going to pick up our feet off the floor. So if this is a comfortable place for you to stay, that's just fine. Or maybe you try to bring your arms out to the side. Maybe you straighten those legs. And whenever you start to bend or start to shake, you know that miracles are happening. That one's for you, Jeannie. Don't forget to breathe in this pose. Don't know if you can see it from there, but I'm definitely shaking. And exhale, feet to the floor. Perfect, excellent work on our boat pose there. I'm gonna do a bit of a counter pose for my back. So I'm gonna invite you to come to a laying position. Laying all the way on your belly. Some of you may have done this, and again, kind of maybe when you were younger in a gym class and maybe knew it as Superman. Here it is the locust pose. So we're going to reach our arms back behind us. If you want, you can leave your forehead on the floor. Then as we breathe in, we are going to bring our feet, our knees off the floor, and we're going to peel our chest back up off the floor. And really our point of contact with the floor is our hips. So everything else is peeled up and off the floor. And exhale, release. We'll do 2 more of those. Inhale, peel your chest, your head, your feet, your thighs, your cats are touching the floor. Everything else off the floor. Really feel the strength in this pose. Again, like this was like that Superman pose, right? Exhale down. 1 more of those. Inhale, peel up. And exhale down. All right, we're going to turn over to our back. So just kind of gently roll to your back. We're going to go to our wind relieving pose, or Apanasana. I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, again, please feel free to correct me. So our knees are bent, our back is on the floor. We're going to invite both our knees to come up to our chest. Just kind of hug into our knees. Maybe as you exhale, you're able to bring in your knees a little closer. And as you inhale, your knees float just a little away from you. And do 1 more twist here as we're on the floor, just because I really think that it's important for us to get that back and our spine moving in all different kinds of directions. So we're going to take our knees, now that they're up here, and we're just going to drop them down to one side. Okay? Either side's fine. We want to leave our shoulders on the ground. Our knees are dropped to one side. We're going to look to the opposite side from our knees. You can extend your hand out here if you'd like. And invite this spinal twist into our lives a little bit. A few deep breaths here. Breathing in wherever you feel a stretch. And on your next exhale, coming up to center. And dropping them to the other side. So knees are to one side. Our arm here looking straight out to the other way. Our gaze is opposite our knees. Feel free to even put your hand on your knees just to sort of help them lay down to that side. Coming back up. Holding on to those knees. Maybe you just kind of rock back and forth a little bit, sort of massaging that sacrum. A little bit of forwards and backwards, a little left and right. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to drop those feet to the floor. We're going to straighten them out in front of us. We're going to do the banana asana next, which is probably my favorite pose, the banana pose. So what I want you to do is, our feet are at roughly both the corners of the mat. We're going to cross our left leg over our right leg. We're going to reach above our arms. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to grab that left wrist into our nice banana asana. You're basically just a little banana on the floor. Your left side should be nice and open. Breathing all the way through that left rib cage. And exhaling to center. Taking our right foot now over the left foot. Right hand grabbing the left wrist. And feeling that stretch all through that right side. Breathing nice and deep into that rib cage. And exhaling, relaxing back to center. I'm going to get ready for Shavasana now. So I'm going to invite you to relax your feet into the floor. Maybe this is where you're going to grab one of those blankets or bolsters from earlier. Maybe put something under your head to get nice and comfortable. Cover yourself up if you'd like to feel a little warmer. Maybe put some socks on. And we're going to relax our legs into the floor. Our hands can either be down if you really want to feel grounded, or a little more up for receiving, either way. And we're just going to notice where the floor is holding us. Being mindful of the connections of our legs, the ground, our back, and our shoulders are relaxed, where our arms are touching the ground, where our head is touching the floor. Come back to our breath. Notice the sensation of your breath. Cool as you're breathing in. A slight warmth to it as you exhale. Notice where that breath is. Is it in your nose, in your throat, in your chest, in your stomach, or somewhere else entirely? Take a few more deep breaths here. Allow yourself to have this time to be here and in your breath. Really let your body sink into the floor underneath you. Find your mind wandering, it's okay. Just invite those thoughts to continue to pass. Thank them for being there and let them go on their way. Maybe you notice what you can hear right now. What you can feel. Ground beneath you. And even coming back to your breath and feeling it fill your entire body. back here. For a present moment of awareness, maybe you just wiggle your fingers ever so slightly. You feel some movement in your toes. Maybe you roll your head, back of your head, and massage it against the floor. Slowly making those movements just slightly bigger in your wrists and ankles and legs. And whenever you're ready, rolling over to one side. Just being there in that side position for a few moments. Before you gently use those arms to push you back up into a comfortable seated position. I want to thank you all so much for giving me the time today to be with you and for allowing me to grow in this moment. I'm so honored to be able to share this with you and to share this time with you. And I wish you the best as you continue on your day and your week. And I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you. Thanks so much, everybody. I appreciate being here with you. Sorry about the glasses today. It's kind of a funny thing, but when you're around your niece and nephew a lot, they tend to pass you things like pink eye, so it's much better now. I'm normally not a glasses person, so doing down dog and feeling them kind of slide off my face is a little goofy, but hopefully you enjoyed this today. If you have any feedback, please feel free to send it my way. I'd really appreciate it. I'm still very much in the learning phase of things, so anything that you might have from, you know, a pacing standpoint or otherwise that you just want to share, please feel free to send that my way. Thank you so much. Bye.